But you know what? I went to the migrant camp. Have I got time, Richard? Richard, have I got time? I went to the migrant camps in France last year. So I was leaving. Is there any whiskey in that? We're supposed to meet at 4:30 in the morning. I think it was a Monday morning from King's Cross Station. Then I was going to Calais on the shuttle. We was waiting for Diane Abbott, but she went to the wrong train station. I think she must have put odd shoes on that day and gone somewhere else. But we got there, and the first thing we noticed in Calais was there were no women, there was no families, it was all young men. Young men of a certain age, between about 15 and 35. When we got speaking to them, it was pleasant enough. They all said the same thing, El Dorado. It's El Dorado, you know, land of gold or city of gold. And they were coming for one reason only, and that was for economic reasons. And we had a charity there called Care for Calais. And these were encouraging these young men to come. They was teaching them how to speak English, how to write in English, they were giving them new phones, new data, getting them ready for the perilous journey across the channel. And then as soon as they crossed the channel, they were waiting for them in the hotels to walk them through the asylum process. They are cheating our system. They are not genuine asylum seekers. And to be honest, guys, I do not want these people in my country. I do not. Cheers, James. I'm going to finish now, and I'll tell you what real asylum seekers are. This bloke had me in. He come to my office. He says, Lee, what you say about these asylum seekers is right. He says, my dad, Janis Peter, remember that name, Janis Peter. I spelled with a J, J-A-N-I-S. Is he old enough to get a drink? You know. He should be sweeping chimneys, he should, Richard. Lost my train of thought, anyway. Janis Peter, Latvian. It says, let me tell you a story about my dad. It says in 1942, my dad was 15, living in a village in Latvia. And the German army knocked on his door. And they said, right, we're taking one male member from each family to come and fight the Russians on the Russian front. There's no arguing, no negotiation, we're taking one male member. If you disagree, we'll just shoot a lot of you. So Janis had to go, he was 15. He left his dad, his 12-year-old brother. His mother had died some years earlier, so Janis went. Imagine that, 15. 15-year-old kids now are on their Xbox, aren't they, and playing in the bedroom and doing that stuff what 15-year-old kids do. Nothing wrong with that. So he had to go on the Russian front, put a German uniform on, gave him a gun. Probably did some horrible things, which he weren't proud of. And he said some years later, because Janis survived the war, and he said some years later that the cold weather killed more people than any bullets or machinery or stuff like that. And at the end of the war, Janis couldn't go back to his village in Latvia because they would have killed him. He couldn't go anywhere. He was a displaced person, an asylum seeker, 17 years old, seen horrible things, a genuine refugee. He was given two choices. You either come to the UK or go to the United States. So he thought to himself, I want to go to the UK because maybe, just maybe in 10 years' time, I can go back to Latvia, trace my family, and start over again. So he came to the UK, he came to a little village in Derbyshire, which is next door to me, and they put them in army barracks, all these Eastern European young lads, 15, 16, 17 years old, put them in army barracks. And these young lads, they were so grateful for having a second chance in life, that our great country, our beautiful country, had given them a fresh life, a new life. They learnt the language. And then, instead of just being sat there in the barracks messing about, they decided to volunteer on the farms and in the factories locally, because we were short of labour. And they did that for no money. And after a few years, Janis met a young girl in the village, fell in love, did a bit of courting, and they got married. He became a British citizen, and he did all the British things. You know, he had kids, did the football teams, you know, they did the scouts. He even met our Queen on a couple of occasions as well. He became totally British, and he loved and embraced our complete way of life. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, that's a sign that our country is a great country, that it could bring somebody. Because when I worked down the pit in the 80s and 90s, there was a lot of, we used to call them Poles, and that's not very fair, because they had names with no consonants in, no vowels, what's vowels? Vowels is A, B, A, O, A, I, O, T. They had no vowels in the surnames. It was like a Z, a C, a W, an X. I thought, fucking hell, what's your second name? But these had come, their dads had come in the 50s, in the 40s and 50s, to work in our pits. And they had come from all these different, Latvia, you know, all these different countries. And had an incredibly difficult life after seeing horrible things, but worked hard, raised good kids, raised good families, and by the end of it, they were British people. British people. So when I see these people coming over at Dover, when our border force bring them over and dump them on our chest, it makes me feel sick to the pit of my stomach. And if I had my way, like I've said before, I was then every single one back the same day. Absolutely. Every single one. I love this country. I love this country, I really do. And I'm glad there's so many people here tonight, because this is our last chance to save our country. Yeah, I agree. You know, we won 5 seats at the last election, 4.1 million votes, which is astonishing. Yeah. I won my seat. People said I wouldn't win it. I was 12 to 1 at the bookies. 12 to 1. I lumped on myself when I was 12 to 1. I knew I was going to win. Don't tell anybody that. Go in front of Guardian tomorrow, that will. I lumped on myself because I know my people in my community love our country, and they are fed up to the back teeth of that place in Parliament, totally ignoring their wishes. Yeah. That's all they do, they just ignore them. Yeah. It is out of touch. But the good news is, we've got Reform UK, we've got 5 MPs now in Parliament, we've got councillors winning every single week at by-elections. Our membership has just smashed 100,000, I think it's 105,000 now. But we need your help. Because you know what? In 100 years' time, all you lot will be dead. But your kids and grandkids will be looking at this on YouTube and thinking, what went wrong or what went right? So this is your chance tonight to join Reform, get involved with the fight. It took me an hour and a half to get here tonight. It was a dodgy driver. Dodgy driver there. But I do this because I love my country, and most of all, I love every single one of you that's come here tonight to support us. Thank you very much.
Lee, if you could just stay there for a moment, take a quick swig of your Jameson's. Ladies and gentlemen, what a man, please. My wife started to get very jealous when I become friends with Lee. She said, "You think more of him than you do of me?" I said, "No, I can't help it." Anyway, look, what we're going to do, we're just going to start off an auction. We've got an overseas...
Hey.
Sorry.
Can I have that budget?
Yeah.
I'll launch that first.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Lee, it's here, my friend.
Okay.
So,
what's this?
If you could explain...
So this is a budget statement from Rachel from Accounts. Which I've got now. All 5 Reform UK MPs have signed this. So this is history. So I'm going to auction this off tonight. Can you hear me? Just raise your hands if you can hear me at the back. Can you hear me? 100 quid to the mid t-shirt there, just put his hand up, yeah, 100 quid, yeah.
Hey, we need him out the bar in here.
Yeah, come out the bar.
Come out the bar.
This is the budget statement signed by all 5 Reform UK MPs. Limited edition. So I've got a bid at £100 at the back with the... who's going to give me 125 quid for this? 125, 150 anyway, 150, 175, 175, 200, 250, 250, 275, 300. You know, you that, you could have it for 275, 300, yeah, 350, 400 anybody, 400, 450 anybody, 450, 500, 550, 600 anybody? 600. 650? 650. 750. 750. 750. 800 anybody? 800 to the bloke there, look. What do you mean, what is it? Fucking hell, fine. Just bid 800 and said, what is it? You're having it now for 800. 850, anybody? 850. 900, anybody? 900. 950. Let's get to a grand. 950.
Cresta.
£1,000, anybody? £1,000.
Cresta.
50.
Right.
Yeah, it's gone to 1,000. There's 1,050 now. 1,100, anybody? 1,500. It's just showing off now, isn't it? I tell you what, mate, I'm going to give it you for 1,500. Richard, that's your friend.
Well, a big thank you to Richard.